Okay, in this lesson, we're going to look at finding median, and we're going to use the same examples that we used for the mode lesson. The median, as we stated in some of the other lessons, sorry, I'm trying to get to my white here, is the middle number. Median is middle number when the numbers are in order from least to greatest. So finding the middle number isn't such a big deal, not usually a problem. It's the least to greatest part that students need to remember. Sometimes they forget that they have to put them in order, and then they just find the middle number of the set the way it was written. So we have sometimes one middle number, sometimes two middle numbers. And so one thing I do to encourage students to make sure they're finding the correct middle is I will, after their least to greatest, we'll kind of cross off one from each side, okay? So that we are narrowing it down in a way to the middle. So we've crossed off two on this side and we've crossed off two on this side and we've got two left. If I cross off one on the left, I can't cross off the other one on the right. If I do, there's nothing there. There's no middle number. So these two are technically my middle, and I have to find the middle of them. So the middle of them would be the mean of those two numbers. So I could add them together and then divide by 2 because I have two numbers, and that gives me 70. Or sometimes students will actually like to go and list out 65 to 75 and then cross out the numbers on each side till they get to the middle, which is 70. But finding the mean of those two numbers is often the easiest, especially if these two numbers are very far apart. So we cross out the numbers on each side, so we have the same number crossed out until we get to the middle, which could be one middle or two middles. If there are two in the middle, we find the average of that, and that is our median value. I've already put these in order from least to greatest, so you don't have to wait for me to do that while we're talking about this. Okay, for this example, cross off one on each side, one there, one on the left, one on the right. This time I'm left with one middle value, which is 12, and 12 is my median. One more example here, number 3. I have already, as I said, put them in order from least to greatest, so cross off one on each side. 3 on that side, 3 on that side, 4 on that side, 4 on that side, and we're left with 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When there is an odd number of numbers in the data set, there will be one middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's odd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When there's an even number of numbers in the data set, we will have two middle numbers, and we'll have to find the average of those. We have, again, the dot plot example. I encourage students to actually write out all of the values. It can be a long list, but what often will end up happening if they try to cross off from either side, they maybe won't be sure, like, do I start at the top? Do I start at the bottom? Where do I start crossing them off? You know, they might end up with the same answer no matter how they cross off. One here, but it does tend to lead to a little bit of confusion for them, and so I encourage them to list them all out. So I'm going to go this way, see where we end up if we go from the top every time. Okay, I've got 2 left, and I think, and here's where it can be tricky, because now I've got to go back and count, like, which ones were my left ones, which ones were my right ones. Did I cross out the same number of numbers every single time? We've got 5, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There should be 2 middle numbers. So it should be that I have 1 and 2 as my middle values, which would mean 1.5 is my median. But we could do it then here as well. As I said, 1 there, 1 there. And this is a lot of writing and a lot of crossing out for certain in some situations, but it does help students to be more methodical and organized as they're trying to find that middle value. And since this is purple on black, it's a little hard for me to see. All right, well, we ended up with 1 and 2 in the middle. which again, the middle of 1 and 2 is 1.5. And if they found the mean, they would add them together to get 3 and divide by 2 to get 1.5. And that is something they don't need their calculators for this, unless maybe they need to use the calculator to find the mean of the two middle numbers. But for the most part, this is a calculator-free calculation. And the key part is least to greatest. You see, if they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if they just took this as it was, they would say the middle numbers are 82 and 75, and divided by 2 is 78.5. Another quick thing here, though, just like when they were finding mean, and if we divided right away, we did this in the calculator. The calculator is going to do 75 divided by 2 first, and it's going to give us an answer of 102.5. So students, again, need to remember to put an equal sign after they add those together, and then divided by 2 to make sure that we find the correct median. So quick note there is just the fact that the calculator will follow order of operations, and they need to make sure they include that equal sign. If they don't and they get 102.5, they should be able to look at that and say, wait a second, 102.5 is not between 65 and 75, and they should be able to catch themselves on that and go ahead and recalculate. But that's another place where we have to be careful about how we enter that into the calculator. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know.